And right now at 6, late details on negotiations to end the San Francisco teachers' strike. The district offers a new deal and what we just learned about classes for tomorrow. And it's not just San Francisco schools in a financial crunch. San Jose parents fighting to save several neighborhood schools on the chopping block. And the Bay Area is seeing significant rain for the first time in more than a month. We are tracking several chances of wet weather over the next week. Plus, neighbors living near a home that exploded late last year say they're sick of delays in this cleanup process. And now they're taking Alameda County to court. And later.
Now we're stuck every day trying to keep a roof over our head.
It was billed as an affordable housing solution in West Oakland, but months after the ribbon cutting, residents are still waiting to move in.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Well, good evening. Tonight it is a rare sight these days. Rain is back around the Bay after weeks of dry weather. So take a look at the green. It's our live Doppler right now. You can see the system just sweeping its way into the region. Just about everywhere you look, there's rain in sight. We're expecting not even severe impacts. Well, we're not expecting severe impacts, that is. This rain is hitting an inconvenient time for commuters. Here is a look at traffic on some of our Bay Area bridges. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan. Slick roadways there.
Yeah, the rain is going to continue as we head through this evening and tonight and throughout the day tomorrow as well. Let's take a look at the big picture perspective here, the map of the entire state and the radar replay over the past 6 hours. And you can see that rain surging in this afternoon. The first wave kind of evaporated on the way down, but we have seen the rain hitting the ground and beginning to accumulate. And there's some snow flying in the Sierra as well. In fact, there are winter weather advisories, even a winter storm warning to the south of Lake Tahoe that's in effect through 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But let's come in for a closer look and take a look at First Alert Doppler over the past couple of hours as the rain has been hitting the ground. We're starting to see some amounts adding up to over a quarter-inch of rain already in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and these waves of additional rain are going to be moving from south to north across the Bay Area as we head through the rest of tonight and into tomorrow. Here's a look at Futurecast tonight through midday tomorrow, and Futurecast shows rain moving in, but not raining everywhere all the time. There are going to be little breaks in the action, but they don't last too long. So the next wave of rain is going to be right on the heels of the previous one. It's just an unsettled forecast for about the next 30 hours or so, until about midnight tomorrow night. There's some forecast models that try to hang on to the chance of rain all the way into about midday on Thursday, though. So let's take a look at how much rain we have added up so far, and the amounts have been modest because the rain has only just started to fall. But already in the Santa Cruz Mountains, you picked up over a quarter-inch of rain around Ben Lomond, 1/10 of an inch for San Rafael and San Francisco, a few hundredths of an inch of rain for other parts of the Bay Area. Not just the rain, though. Tomorrow, the wind is going to be an increasing concern. Some gusts in the 20 to 30 mile an hour range. Not enough for a wind advisory, but enough to move you around on the road. So definitely both hands on the wheel tonight and tomorrow. Come back with a longer look at Futurecast and look ahead at the next wave of rain headed our way next week, coming up in just a few minutes.
Paul, thank you. Residents in the Santa Cruz Mountains are gearing up for heavy rain and strong winds expected to hit the area this week. The region is no stranger to winter storms. They often take the brunt of the system that roll in off the Pacific. And residents tell us they need to be ready for anything.
We have a couple of chainsaws always gassed up. We make sure we've blown off the roof and we have the limbs. We had a bunch of tree work done recently. And quite honestly, make sure we have one all-wheel drive car.
And of course, we'll keep tracking this rain and any potential impacts. You can stay with us on the air or streaming on the free CBS News app. All right, on to our other big story at 6. San Francisco school officials say they're making real progress toward a deal that would end the city's first teacher strike in 47 years. So less than an hour ago, the district announced schools will be closed for a third day tomorrow. But both sides will be bargaining into the night. Our Brad Hamilton is live at the War Memorial Opera House with the latest on the progress between the district and the union. Sounds like they're making some progress. Brad, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Juliette, we still heard those 3 sticking points, 2 in particular, health coverage and the wage increase amount. Until those get done, it appears we are going to continue to see the ebbs and the flows of this entire negotiation play out. And we saw some of the confusion, even with a short press conference, and then about 20 minutes later, another brief press conference as the two sides continue to battle it upstairs here at the War Memorial Building. So let's kind of recap the day. Today's talks started with a focus on the district's district's response to the union's latest proposal. And just a short time ago, we learned that the district has now issued yet another new deal that the union must mull over. For now, health care coverage and the wage increase appear to remain the final hurdles. The district says that any agreement must be financially responsible as it remains under state oversight and faces a structural deficit. They have suggested using parcel tax funds to help cover health care costs, but a union rep told us that the money should come from other places, including the district's reserve fund, and both sides shared their determination to get the right deal done despite the different views on what that looks like.
And so we are actively working back and forth on these different proposals to come to an agreement on these final remaining articles around salaries and health care and special education. And so we are committed. We will stay here for as long as it takes.
There is money. There is money to stabilize our schools. They can make some movement.
Okay, now Mayor Daniel Lurie arrived here and went up the elevator. This was about an hour ago. We did ask school officials what his role might be. They said that we would have to ask his office, but they have not come down yet. We're hoping to get the mayor as he leaves this building, but we know Mayor Daniel Lurie has said multiple times that he wants to get a deal done as soon as possible. And he said the biggest thing for him is to keep these two sides talking. Even yesterday during an interview, he talked about frustration over the two sides not meeting on Super Bowl Sunday. He felt like that was a day lost. And he said every day that this goes on, the parents and students are losing.
Yeah, his role's probably being there, being visible, showing he cares, and trying to get it done. All right, Brad, thanks so much. So many San Francisco parents have really been scrambling to find care for their students amidst the ongoing teacher strike. Mission YMCA is just one of many programs caring for kids during the strike, but luckily, many of the kids don't seem to be too worried about it.
We know the families, we know our communities, and so we were able to reach out over the weekend to the folks who we know really depend on care.
I kind of miss going to school, but this is a time off. But this school is fun because you get to go on field trip and stuff.
There you go. Parents are also able to access meals for their kids at several distribution sites around the city, including one at the Latino Task Force, which provided care and meals for 27 students just today. Meantime, the San Jose Unified School District is dealing with its own budget issues, and tonight officials are considering several options to possibly close a number of elementary schools. So take a look here. 16 schools across the city with their fates up in the air, like many districts across the Bay Area. San Jose Unified is facing significant declines in enrollment year after year. Our Kevin Coe has the latest from a committee meeting being held right now.
Some of these parents behind me have been here since 5 a.m., bringing signs and essentially just trying to secure a spot in line for public comment at tonight's committee meeting. No decision is expected to be made tonight, but hundreds of families across San Jose are on edge as the district weighs one of three options. Any of them could potentially close 8 elementary schools. When you look at all three plans on the table tonight, 16 elementary schools could be impacted, 15 possible closures and 1 potential relocation. The district says 12 of its 26 elementary schools have less than 350 students, which is too low to provide proper resources. Funding for school districts statewide is based on average daily attendance, and the district says enrollment has fallen by 20% since the COVID-19 pandemic. However, that logic is also why hundreds of families from Williams Elementary plan to pack tonight's School of Tomorrow committee meeting. According to the California Department of Education, Williams Elementary currently enrolls 539 students.
We have a strong enrollment, we have a stable staffing, we have enrichment programs. And so Williams is not the problem to solve here. We're the model to protect. It's not something that you can just tear apart and shove into other schools and expect the same outcomes. It only works because it's at Williams Elementary.
Tonight's meeting is actually already underway. It began at 6 p.m. The committee will take a few weeks to make their final recommendation to the board, and then the school board will make its final call on March 12th. Families tell me they will continue to mobilize until then, including in 2 days, when the board has its next meeting. That's also, by the way, the last board meeting scheduled until March 12th.
Well, the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office is investigating a deadly crash in Half Moon Bay, and officials say a 16-year-old died after his electric motorcycle crashed into a box truck. Happened just after noon yesterday at the intersection of Highway 1 and Terrace Avenue, not far from Half Moon Bay High School. The Sheriff's Department says the teen was riding fast along the highway shoulder when he hit the box truck. He died at the hospital. The truck driver stayed at the scene and is helping with the investigation. Neighbors living near the site of a house explosion are suing Alameda County. They're saying the road construction project that led to this blast was entirely mismanaged. So our chopper flew over the scene today in Ashland, that's near Hayward, and not much has changed 2 months later. This gas explosion happened on December 11th. 6 people were injured. The initial report from the NTSB says a road work crew damaged a gas line on Llewellyn Boulevard. PG&E crews responded, capping the line, but then detected additional gas. Soon after, the house exploded. The investigation into the details is ongoing. Lawyers representing neighbors were out at the scene today as part of an investigation that includes pipeline regulators, utility safety agencies, local fire officials, and PG&E. We heard from one person who says life in the neighborhood is still at a standstill.
All the businesses, all the families, communities, we have to just live with this big old gaping hole, like trenches in front of our places, nowhere to park, nothing. It's created a lot of fear, a lot of stress. Anytime PG&E or, somebody comes, it's like we're worried.
So we've reached out to the county, which has not gotten back to us yet. PG&E says it cannot say much about the explosion and referred any questions about the investigation to the NTSB. All right, still ahead here at 6, we're going to hear from some frustrated future residents still waiting to move in months after the ribbon cutting at a new apartment complex in Oakland.
We're hoping that some accountability is, they're held accountable for some of the things that they're doing to these families, because it's not just affecting us, it's affecting our kids.
Plus, the strict new curfew just approved for certain types of businesses in downtown San Francisco. Just last year, Oakland city leaders celebrated the completion of a new apartment complex designed to get people off the streets. However, the complex remains closed, leaving those who were supposed to move in a lurch. John Remus has our story.
They held a ribbon cutting for this new low-income housing project last year, but residents who are supposed to be living in there by now say they don't understand why it's still not open and why they're still out in the cold. The Phoenix apartments in West Oakland were welcomed with great fanfare. The 101-unit apartment complex was built for homeless and low-income individuals and received public funding for its construction. At the ribbon cutting in November, Mayor Barbara Lee said housing wasn't just a luxury, but a basic human right.
For far too many years, this community has faced displacement and disinvestment. But today, yes, once again, we're on the move. We're rising as the Phoenix does.
But this Phoenix is yet to rise, sitting empty behind a chain link fence, leaving those who were supposed to move in October living in the ashes.
We're supposed to be housed. This is supposed to be for, unhoused individuals and families, and it hasn't happened since the date that it said it was supposed to happen. Now we're here today, months later, dealing with being even in a worse situation than before.
Frank Cruz and his partner Michelle Abbott are now living in their car. They have a 12-year-old child, and Frank says he was so desperate to find a place for them that he quit his job in order to qualify to live at the Phoenix. They were living in a shelter when they were accepted and were supposed to move in October.
They accepted funding for us and then ended up exiting us from our shelter early because nobody can wait for what's going on here. They have to get new people into their place, and we were exited early. And now we are every day trying to make sure that we have a roof over our head, food to eat. And there's no way to get out of homelessness when you're like that.
Housing advocates say they also have not been told what is causing the delay.
We don't know why it's not open. But what we do know is that it is inhumane to have families living out here in the elements.
The developer is a nonprofit called the East Bay Asian Local Development Corporation. The Phoenix is featured on their website saying, quote, "The Phoenix is a direct solution to homelessness by providing permanent supportive housing for the community and aims to be a positive impact to neighbors by reducing encampment and loitering that currently exists," end quote. But A.C. Dunbar works in the neighborhood, offering medical services to the homeless. She too has been wondering when the Phoenix would begin being a solution to homelessness.
Yeah, we were expecting for our patients to move in around October. That's what we were told. And it's still not open, or we haven't gotten no word. It's just been a holdup.
The developer didn't respond for comment today, but we spoke with one contractor who wouldn't go on camera, but said there is a major dispute over contractors not being paid. And he said he planned to file a $2 million lien on the property if he wasn't paid by the end of the day. He said the building is nearly finished, but he had no guess about when it would finally open.
But hopefully somebody can figure out so we can get folks moved in. It's supposed to be permanent supportive housing. It's a beautiful infrastructure. We would love to get inside and see what it looks like.
This afternoon, another partner in the project, Abode Services, sent a written statement saying they have been working together with all stakeholders to fill in the gaps while final construction is completed at the Phoenix. But they offered no reason for the delay or any timeline for its opening. San Leandro City Council member has resigned the day before a major court hearing in a federal corruption case. The City Council issued a statement saying that Brian Acevedo, who oversaw District 2, gave them a formal letter of retirement that went into effect at 9 o'clock this morning. Tomorrow, Acevedo is expected to change his not guilty plea on charges, including wire fraud and making false statements to investigators. Prosecutors allege he took a $2,000 bribe. The case is connected to the broader East Bay public corruption investigation that also includes former Oakland Mayor Shang Tao. We have reached out to Acevedo about this, but we have not heard back. The San Francisco Board of Supervisors approved a measure to extend an overnight retail curfew to include parts of the Soma neighborhood. So the new curfew will include areas from 3rd Street to South Van Ness and from Market Street down to Folsom. Food and tobacco markets without liquor licenses will have to close between midnight and 5 in the morning. A version of this program is already in effect in the Tenderloin. All right, coming up, the rain is back here in the Bay Area. The snow is returning to the Sierra. Paul's going to be back with the full 7-day forecast beyond this wet weather. A winter storm in the Sierra is expected to bring up to a foot of snow to the area. Right now, chain controls are required for trucks driving along Interstate 80. More snow expected to hit the area by the end of this weekend. Paul, that has to be a relief for all those Tahoe resorts.
Yeah, they've been running way behind the pace to this point in the season, but they're happy to make up for it a little bit. We got wet, windy weather in store for us on Wednesday, so it makes it challenging to do anything outdoors. Why not go visit an adoptable dog? This is Goldie, who is adoptable from Lily's Legacy in Petaluma. She might be able to get out for a quick walk in between showers tomorrow, but it is just going to be a generally wet day. I'll put up a link to her adoptable information right after this weathercast. Let's talk about the big picture perspective of what's causing the wet weather, and that is a storm system swirling away. Just a beautiful perspective on the satellite view here. That swirl of clouds is the heart of the storm system, and as that approaches the coast, that's when it's going to squeeze the atmosphere to a greater extent and result in those strongest winds tomorrow. But even the strongest winds are not going to be strong enough to prompt a wind advisory. So let's talk about the rain that continues to fall across much of the Bay Area right now. This is the current view on First Alert Doppler, and we're seeing widespread light to moderate rainfall, enough to make a mess of the evening commute. And it's going to continue surging in from the south as we head through the rest of this evening. This is Futurecast through 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. So you see the waves of additional rainfall, including some locally heavier downpours, but they will be moving along quickly enough that we should be able to avoid any kind of flooding potential. From 4 a.m. through midday tomorrow, we're going to continue to track more waves of rain headed in our direction, not raining everywhere all the time. So there are going to be some gaps here and there, but it's just going to be a pretty wet day overall. Be prepared to spend plenty of time indoors tomorrow. From noon through 10 p.m., the showers begin to become a little fewer and farther between, but it's still going to be wet through tomorrow evening. And this forecast model tries to hang on to at least some lingering showers all the way through the first half of Thursday. This runs out of data at 10 a.m. Thursday, and only at that point are we starting to dry out. So we'll leave a chance of some early morning showers in the forecast on Thursday. All of this is going to add up to about another half an inch to an inch of additional rain on top of what has already accumulated. Forecast models are squeezing out quite a bit more than that in the Santa Cruz Mountains, of course, close to 2 inches of additional rainfall around Ben Lomond. But again, the fact this is going to fall over the next 24 to 36 hours, spaced out enough that we should be able to avoid any kind of flooding threat. In terms of the winds, they're starting to pick up right now. The windiest time frame is going to be in a couple of different bursts. Late tonight into the pre-sunrise hours of tomorrow morning, some 25 to 30 mile an hour gusts in that time frame. And while it's going to be consistently breezy throughout the day tomorrow, looks like by early afternoon, we're going to see another burst of those 25 to 30 mile an hour gusts, which leaves us below that threshold for a wind advisory, but just both hands on the wheel, which you should be doing when the roads are wet anyway. In the Sierra, this is a snowmaker, a winter weather advisory, not a winter storm warning. So this is going to be kind of a modest snowmaker. At lake level, they're only talking 1 to 3 inches of total snowfall, but some of the higher elevations above 7,000 feet, up to a foot of total accumulation. So exercise caution if you're going to be traveling on US 50 or I-80. And there is more rain on the way for us, more snow on the way for them, beginning on Sunday and then continuing for President's Day and much of next week. If this went farther than 7 days out, most of next week would have a good chance of rain in the forecast. So we're not going to be getting out of this consistently rainy weather pattern much at all over the course of the next several days. A little dry break for Thursday afternoon, Friday into Saturday. The showers start late Saturday night, continue Sunday with rainy and windy conditions back in the forecast once again by Monday and Tuesday of next week. We're going to add up the total 7-day rainfall for the entire Bay Area coming up at 7 o'clock. So we're going to see how much we're going to accumulate back into a more active pattern after 5 weeks of pretty tranquil weather. Things change in a hurry.
I'm thinking of my close friend who is driving up to ski this week, and I was kind of envious of my friend Chef Shell. And
if you get up there on Saturday, it should be fine, but then don't plan on coming back very
Saturday,
quickly.
the weekend.
Going up there on Saturday.
She's
should be
there right
fine.
now.
Oh,
She's driving up for the week.
So there you go.
Not skiing.
She should be fine.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's snow. It's snowing right now.
Oh, I
We talked
like
about
to
that.
ski in the sun.
Oh, I see.
All right. Thank you. When we come back, more than 160 guns seized in the North Bay. Details on this bust and what else investigators found. Plus, here's a look at what's ahead on the CBS Evening News.
Good evening. We're covering that major new clue in the abduction of Savannah Guthrie's mother, a masked, apparently armed person at her door the night she disappeared. We'll have an analysis of the video and the new message from Savannah ahead on the CBS Evening News.
All right, so take a look at this. Santa Rosa police say they seized more than 165 firearms. They arrested a 22-year-old man accused of illegally manufacturing and selling guns. Police say they pulled over and arrested the suspect around 5:15 this morning. They searched 2 Cloverdale homes, one on Garden Circle Way, the other on Treadway Court. Here's another look at the bust. Police say that in addition to more than 160 guns, they also seized 3 different 3D printers and printing materials. And get this, police say at one of the homes, dozens of the guns were unsecured and easily accessible to a child that lives there. The suspect, Joshua Pinuelos, facing roughly 350 gun-related charges in addition to felony child endangerment. Great work, cops. CBS Evening News is next. We'll see you at 7 with more news.